The average American, fat, dumb, and happy, was taught that sitting on the bench, staying out of the fight is the way to go, that only caring about themselves was the way to go. Well, that brings enslavement and tyranny every time, and now we're here. If we can rouse people to defend themselves and at least get up off their hind ends, we can save this society. But this is life and death. Bob Chapman is our guest. Bob, going out to break, I made those comments, and I just made that comment. What's your take on it?
Well, everybody's got to do their part. I mean, this is the key to this whole thing. We're giving you this exposure on programs like this. We're giving you the tools. Alex says all these videos and DVDs, buy them, copy of them, whatever. And I know many of you are handing them out. We need lots more people. We've got to wake up the American public before November so they'll understand that they got to get rid of these crooks and miscreants. And in the process, make them understand that the core of the power of the Illuminati in America and throughout the world is the Federal Reserve System and the Bank of England and other central banks. And if people can understand that, they'll know how they're getting robbed.
Well, look at who's calling all the shots. Look at who's behind everything. It's now out in the open, and they're saying world government run by them. There's no more time, folks. No more time. Oh, I heard it's kooky to talk about this. Read the newspaper. They're just doing this out in the open. Let's go to calls here. Let's talk to John in Canada, then James, Nikki, and others. You're on the air, John.
Yeah, hi, Alex. Yeah, great interview with David Paul Hammer. I learnt a lot from that. And Bob, I've read many of your articles. I have one question regarding something I've read is the MERS regards the mortgages in the United States. I'd just like to hear your opinion about that.
Well, the foreclosure ratio is going to continue to increase. We'll probably lose 7 million homeowners this year. It'll be just as bad the next 2 years. And it may go a little bit longer, and then we'll probably be on a bottom. Probably of the loans that are out there that haven't been foreclosed on, 60 to 70% are going under. I know that's a high figure, but I've been right before lots and lots of times. And that's where this thing's going to end up. And I wrote an article 7 years ago, and I said the federal government has allowed Fannie and Freddie to be bankrupt, which they were, and you saw what happened since then. Thereafter, the complete control eventually of the housing market, so they can tell people where to live and how to live. And
yeah, they're taking everything over. The smaller banks that aren't globalist, the car industries, the factories, manufacturing through the carbon taxes they're going ahead with, even
the home builders.
The home builders. They're now announcing that they're going to demolish at least a third of Detroit, 10,000 homes in the next month. I mean, this is incredible.
It certainly is. And remember, what this is corporatist fascism, the marriage of large transnational corporations, finance, banking, and government. It's the same thing that we saw, and you should go and read the real history of the late 1920s, 30s, and 40s in Germany and Italy, and you'll find out exactly what's going to happen here.
And it's not going to be pretty, and they're going to stage terror attacks to demonize the American people and claim that we're terrorists so nobody can protest and demonstrate so they can arrest whoever they want. It's all being publicly announced. It is unspeakably dark, so real that it doesn't even shake me to my core. It energizes me to just stand up against them. And we have no choice. They're not giving us quarter. For those who don't know what quarter is, sometimes they would have a duel. And it would just, with swords in Europe, 500 years ago. And they would say, in this fight, are we going to give quarter? Meaning, if I get you on the ground and have slashed you up, do we give quarter? Vice versa. And no quarter. No quarter given, no quarter taken. And this is it. We'll be right back. Bob, stay there. Well, gold's holding at all-time record highs. We'll talk briefly with Bob in the next segment about where he sees gold going. Bob Chapman is our guest of the internationalforecaster.com. I'm Alex Jones. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we're going to be joined by Alan Keenan of We Are Change Ireland, who got into the Trilateral Commission meeting. This is incredible information. And they also, We Are Change and others, shot video. Neil Foster from the Sovereign Independent newspaper was one of those that confronted Rockefeller at his table. And We Are Change were the ones who caught him the night before the meeting with their president and caught his attention saying, "We're not your slaves." So powerful inside info coming up in about 15 minutes. Bob Chapman's with us for part of this segment, and this segment, part of the next. Right now, let's go back to your calls. Let's go ahead and talk to who's up next here, John? James in Texas. Go ahead, James.
Hey, guys. Bob, real quick, I wanted to ask you, I know this is not off the subject, but this immigration, this boycotting from cities to cities about Arizona, do you see this as a part of the financial plan to put the states against each other, or just a smokescreen so we can keep an eye on that while they steal our money?
About states against each other, but I do know people against each other. It could create confusion. 65% of Americans agree with what Arizona has done, and so that's been pretty strong backing from the general populace.
Yeah, some polls are 80%, but yeah, some others are 64, 66.
Well, it's obvious the government's not listening to the people, or you've got the city of Austin here doing the same thing. You know, I don't know that we should boycott California. They didn't have any money anyway.
No, California's collapsing like Mexico. And you've got the Ford Foundation, pumping out all this racism to get everybody divided under the name of multiculturalism. I appreciate your call. Any other comments on that, Bob Chapman?
No, none at all.
Let's talk to Nikki in Oregon. Nikki, you're on the air.
Hi. I've been hesitant to call just because of the information that I have. You talk about the hypothalamus, Alex, and you're right when you say that humans have a governor in the brain. It is the hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus is the gatekeeper which denies or allows access to our critical thinking brain. And I have found a way to manually reset and reboot the hypothalamus, which forces and allows reason and logic.
Well, I mean, they admit that that's what fluoride attacks. I mean, I've had scientists on to talk about that. How do you reboot it? I mean, is there some kind of chemical or?
No. About 7 years ago, I was about to have my third neck surgery in 3 years. I'm also the founder and publisher of a magazine about autism. It's a 501c3. And I had figured out how all that worked in the brain by helping myself. And I stopped myself from having the third neck surgery and unherniated.
Oh, real fast. Tell us how you did it, and then send me your info. I'll look into it.
Well, I figured out how to reverse engineer the central nervous system.
All right. Well, send me the info. Send me the info then, ma'am, because I need to look. I'm taking calls for Bob Chapman, and but I'm not mad at you. It's just we can't do it. Let's talk to Chris in Florida. You're on the air with Bob Chapman. Quick question.
Hey guys. Thanks for the opportunity to do this. But I was wondering, where can I research and find evidence on the financial situation to show my friends and family how dire the situation really is?
Well, I mean, you can open the newspaper up. President Nicolas Sarkozy threatens to pull France out of Euro. London Guardian, the U.S. faces same problems as Greece as Bank of England may completely collapse. I mean, listen, I put out the Machete trailer on my website. It's on IMDb that it's real, and people are all over the web saying it isn't a real movie when it's admitted it's a real movie. I mean, the public just will not, many of them, wake up. Bob, how do you convince people we're in a financial crisis?
Get them to look at the international forecaster, because everything they need to know every week is in there. And all you have to do is print out the forecaster, 40 or 50 pages, a couple of times a week and hand it to people. Or take it and transfer it from your computer to somebody else's. I don't care. I want the word to get out.
Yeah, but then they have to read. Caller, stay there. I'm going to come right back to you.